That person is one of Matsura's informants. Let's follow him. Be careful not to get seen.
Wow! It's like the whole Tenryo Commission is here.
Excuse me, has something happened on this road? I'm a businessman passing through, and it's a little disconcerting to see this place.
Ah, please don't be alarmed. As I'm sure you've heard, the wedding of Sir Kujo Kamaji and Lady Hiragi Chisato will take place any day now. Sir Kujo decided to send for Lady Hiragi ahead of time and have her live in Inazuma City during the run-up to the wedding.
I see.
We are here to clear the way for Lady Hiragi. Not just us either. You'll see more Tenryo Commission members as you go further along. We're all here for the same duty.
Isn't...
Sir Kujo holds Lady Hiragi in the highest regard and wants to treat her with the utmost respect from beginning to end.
I understand. Sorry to... Drat. It's exactly as Master feared. They say they're here to guard the road, but really they're poised to attack if Master doesn't allow Lady Hiragi to leave Rito. Wait, no. If Lady Hiragi does leave, they'll have all the more reason to strike. But we're in no state to defend against a Tenryo Commission attack. I must tell Master right away.
He ran off again!
That should do it. The seeds have been sown. In this atmosphere, mounting suspicion will nurture fear among the Kangjo Committee. Now, we wait patiently for it to grow and ferment. The calm before...
Are they really gonna own up and apologize? Just like that?
If you're curious to find out, you can visit the Hiragi clan in Rito in a couple of days. I have some other business to attend to, so I won't be spending any more time on this situation. In any case, we've made our move. It's only a matter of time before they give up and surrender. This is not my first time. Well then, goodbye for now. I truly hope that things will work out in Hiragi Chisato's best interests.
He left kind of abruptly. Are things really gonna turn out like he predicted? Paimon too!
These people from the Tenryo Commission have been here for days.
I guess they're here to pick up Lady Hiragi.
I heard that the Kanjo Commission suddenly said they don't want Lady Hiragi to leave. To be honest, I'd be hesitant if I were her. A crowd this size comes to Rito? Who knows what they...
Shh, stay quiet. Someone might...
Oh, right.
Hello. How may I help? We arrived here 2 days ago to escort Lady Hiragi to Inazuma City. Sir Kujo Kamaji gave us very strict orders, so we have to obey. But every time we attempt to receive the bride, the Hiragi clan always finds an... Since we haven't fulfilled our duties yet, we decided to stay in Rito until Lady Hiragi is ready to come with us. We apologize. It was not our intention to stay here so long. We promise our presence here will not impact ordinary people's lives. We can only hope that the leaders of the Hiragi clan will... If this stalemate continues, who knows? Sir Kujo might give us orders to be less accommodating.
How much longer does your master plan to hold them off?
I have no idea. Master's been very on edge these past few days. He gets I understand that he's anxious, but I mean, what can we do? I've told him before, never cross the Yashiro Commission.
Yeah, good advice. With him, you just know that whatever he's doing, a lot of preparation is... If Lady Hiragi is really taken away, then what will the Tenryo Commission do? And what will the Yashiro...
Maybe we should tell Master to discuss things with Lady Hiragi.
Hiragi Chisato is now at the center of every conversation in Rito. By now, the Kanjo Commission probably knows how important she is. But what about what she thinks? Oh, let's go and see.
Oh, Traveler! assume you've heard about everything that's been going on out there. What on earth is happening?
Don't worry, we can explain everything. So, what happened was...
After the Tenryou Commission arrived, they suddenly became alarmed. They keep having secretive discussions and won't allow me to have any direct contact with the Tenryou Commission. I never would have thought that this was Sir Kamisato's plan. Now it all makes sense. I'm sorry. I haven't. Maybe there's no right or wrong decision. Maybe everything would be easier if I simply didn't have the choice. I used to tell myself things like this to avoid having to think about it. But once I saw the notices appearing out of nowhere on the streets, signaling that I didn't feel reassured at all. Instead, I keep thinking back to what Sir Kamisato said. This is supposed to be my bright and beautiful future. But what if it's not? I can happily accept that if someone was trying to take advantage of my marriage, I should absolutely refuse to go through with it. But that's not the answer I'm looking for. And also, now that things have escalated to this point...
Ah, Lady Hiragi, here you are. You scared me for a sec. You... Wait, you're the ones who are... What do you think you're doing here? Are you trying...
Calm down. They're my friends. They're just...
Friends? Are you... Lady Hiragi, I told you already, these are exceptional circumstances. You need to be... You are extremely important to us. Who's to say they don't have...
If you want to accuse us of trying to abduct her, just come out and say it!
Don't be rude. You've been very highly strung lately, seeing everything as a threat. Listen to me. I know all the ins and outs of everything that's happened so far. Her arrival might well be your very last chance to fix this. The present state of affairs in Rito shows me that the situation has escalated well past the point where you could hope to control it. If this deadlock continues any longer, we will have nothing. This is not an order. All I need you to do is give me...
Understood, my lady.
Good job, Chisato!
I was so nervous. But I thought, things are now so critical that I should at least give it a try. And it worked remarkably well. Yes, well, let's wait and see what happens.
We had a serious discussion, and in all honesty, no one can handle the weight of the situation here. Everyone is besides... I'm so sorry. Would you please give us a second chance? For my lady's sake, please give the Kanjo Commission another chance. I suppose you're... The only person who can change the Tenryou Commission's mind will be the Yashiro. We'll head off to the Kamisato estate shortly. And Lady Hiragi, might I ask you to... Yashiro, Commissioner, I'm sure you've heard the news. The Tenryou Commission has now occupied Rito, refusing to leave until we handle... I realize I have greatly offended you with my atrocious actions, and
I'm sorry, Mr. Matsura. I'm exceptionally busy and have but a moment to spare before my next engagement. I fear this leaves... So, please, if you would be...
I know our apology means nothing to you, but we really have nothing else left to offer by this point. Lady Hiragi is indispensable to us. So, would it be at all possible for you to talk to Sir Kujo once more?
You make it sound so easy. The Tri-Commission will be ridiculed by the public if we choose to withdraw the notices now and eat our words. To lose face for the Tri-Commission is to bring shame to Her Excellency. Are you and your associates ready to face the thunderous wrath of the Almighty?
We'll take full responsibility. We'll do everything we can to...
Master Matsura, you should have known it would come to this. Whatever were... But the Tri-Commission must always put the interests of Inazuma first, regardless of what Sir Kujo and I may feel at this present. If the situation in Rito is left to fester any further, things may get out of control. But Lady Hiragi and the inhabitants of Rito are innocent. If we fail to contain the situation promptly, the rumor mill will wreak havoc on the Tri-Commission's reputation. Try keeping a pet bird. You'll see what I mean. Songbirds who know how to hold a tune can be very pleasant to listen to, but they can also become... And as for the ones with excessively long tongues, well, they're so insufferable that they can't be kept as pets at all.
Yes.
I've listened to your concerns, and I'll talk to Sir Kujo for you. But I can't guarantee...
I understand.
All right, you ought to return now. I'm sure you have a side...
Okay, then please excuse me.
Ah, yes, Lady Hiragi. I have something to tell...
Oh? Oh, why, of course. Sir Kamisato, you became a completely different person just now.
Unruly servants like him need to be severely reprimanded. As a commissioner, the almighty Shogun trusts me to do her will. I did as I should, but now I'd like to take off my commissioner hat and share a
Oh, please.
You must have heard that the Kamisato clan once went through an extremely difficult period. My father worked incredibly hard to compensate for the grave errors made by the Kamisato clan long ago and restore our reputation. The work took a toll on his health and ultimately led to his untimely demise. My mother loved him dearly. She passed soon after. This sudden turn of events dealt a heavy blow to the Ashiro Commission. Behind the scenes, things became Everyone thought that the Kamisato clan had lost power. That made my sister and me nothing but burdens, hindering the ambition. It may sound preposterous now, but I assure you that is the truth of what the Ashiro Commission has...
Pretty similar to how the Kanjo Commission...
Back then, I had no choice but to accept the position I was in. While I desperately looked around for powerful supporters, I endured smear campaigns and attempts to exploit me. I had no other choice. I had to honor my parents' dying wishes, and I also had a young sister to take care of. I didn't mind what became of me, but my family... No one can ever be allowed to trample over. Fortunately, I persisted, and the Kamisato clan...
I think I now know where my son... Shinojo once told me that he saw what was in me, in a way that I thought the reason I felt unsettled was because of uncertainty over getting married. But the fact is...
The reason why Sir Kujo was able to face the prospect of marriage so confidently is because he's prepared for anything.
That's it. The situation I'm facing now is the same one when his clan was in crisis, he bravely drew his blade and it is time for me to...
Well said. I'm sure once you have grown and gained confidence, your father will be able to let go and allow you to decide how you want to live the rest of your life. It might not sound exciting, but this kind of personal growth is a necessary step in the pursuit of true...
And I'm sure I can get there. I will use this as an opportunity to take over the... This puts less pressure on Kamaji, and means I can support and protect myself without...
My best wishes to both of you were and remain heartfelt. When the time comes for the wedding to go ahead, I will come to congratulate...
Thank you, Sir Kamisato. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a lot...
Take care, Lady Hiragi. I'm confident that on your return, you will find your Kanjo Commission associates most receptive to your instructions.
Yes. In fact, my recent experience...
She really has the air of a leader now. Hats off to you too, sir. Everyone thought there was no way out until you pulled that...
In fact, counter-checking is a perfectly common maneuver in the game of chess. Our rival this time was easy to deal with. He was smart, but short-sighted, and sloppy in his execution.
Even so, Paimon could never come up with a plan that cunning in a whole lifetime. Anyway, it's kind of a relief to see that Chisato has decided to set the...
I agree. Stability in Inazuma benefits me as well. I wasn't about to pass up an opportunity to make less trouble for myself. Well, the fact is that I am first and foremost. Perhaps for Master Matsura, power is his life's pursuit. But for me, nothing matters more than this. A stable nation is the prerequisite for a stable Yashiro Commission. Only then can the Kamisato clan and the other Yashiro Commission... But human desire will always be a factor in the equation. All I have tried to do is make sure the three parties to the Tri-Commission serve to restrain each other. Stasis is not the only form of stability. A balance of power leaving no room for maneuver achieves the same end. Another positive outcome is that everyone recognizes how important Lady Hiragi is now. Dealing with the Hiragi clan will be much easier for her than navigating a new and unfamiliar one.
There were so many things at play over this one... wait a second! You weren't trying to stop the wedding from the very beginning, were you?
I thought straight away it was bad timing. Nevertheless, everything I said to Hiragi... If you choose to give up your stance on something once, you'll be having to compromise for the rest of... I didn't want to see her suffer because she didn't realize what she was getting into. Now, she has the chance to become her own person. Let's see who she becomes.
Okay then, guess we'll have to wait and see.
All right. Farewell, and profuse thanks to you both. I shall have to host you at the Kamisato estate when my sister is next available.
Looks like everything's resolved. Masterfully done. Everything was perfect. Well, except for one minor detail. I somehow ended up with a glass of very peculiar tasting milk.
Didn't you like it? I distinctly remember you saying you are quite
Oh!
The Traveler had one of those as well.
I'm sure she's made a great impression.
The Traveler did indeed play a critical role in this case. I'm sure both families would have been more guarded against me had she and her companion not been present. It wouldn't have been so easy to get to the heart of the matter.
There you go again, my lord. Placing the focus on other people while discreetly performing your job to perfection.
Naturally. Ah, yes. Now that we're
Ah, if it isn't Kaede Harakazuha. What brings you here today?
Huh? You two know each other?
Yes, the Kaedehara and Amenoma clans were both members of the Raiden Gokaden. Historically, there have always been deep links between the two clans. After I returned to Inazuma, I visited Mr. Amenoma to pay my respects. Let me quickly explain. The Raiden Gokaden was the collective term for the 5 most acclaimed bladesmithing arts in Inazuma. The techniques of blade making were personally bequeathed to the Raiden Gokaden by the almighty Shogun, and over time, further honed and enhanced by the most talented craftsmen. Unfortunately, a series of events led to the gradual decline of many clans in the bladesmithing trade. Today, only the Amenoma clan has kept its art alive.
So sick.
It is a great pity indeed. In the old days, we each had our specialties. And just as iron sharpens iron, so too... As an example, the Amenoma art strives to emulate the abiding patience and determination of water as it turns stone to sand. There is nothing mystical to our work. There is only practice, day in and day out. As for the art of the Kaedehara clan, I believe it's called...
That's right. Ishin art strives for complete harmony between blade and mind, from the moment, for only a blade thus forged can capture and convey it.
Indeed. Most samurai choose their blades, but an Ishin blade chooses its owner. You are, without a doubt, the most worthy wielder of an Ishin blade. It gladdens my heart to see that although the Kaedahara...
You overestimate me. My actions are guided by my own personal sentiments. But let's get back on topic. The purpose of our visit today is to gather some information on your missing nephew. We hope to assist with the investigation.
Ah, yes. My nephew. I reported the case to the Tenryou Commission, but I haven't heard anything back so far. He didn't say a word before he left, which is very unlike him. But I've done what I can so far. Worrying is futile. All I can do now...
We heard that there was a collector involved in the disappearance too. No...
Yes. On the morning that Yuya went missing, he gave me a very cryptic look and said that he was going to give me a great gift. I believe he went to collect the item from Mr. Nagato after that. The next thing I heard was that a fire had broken out at the warehouse. Yes. Strange, isn't it? I wonder what could have
Do you have any thought?
If I had to guess, it must have been some kind of rare weapon. Otherwise, he's never been particularly interested in blade forging, but has always had a fondness for blade testing, and can sense even the most minute differences in blade quality. He is extraordinarily talented in martial arts, particularly when it comes to the art.
Truth be told, we have some information that you may find to be objectionable. The person we are looking for, he attacked this friend of... Based on the evidence we have gathered so far, only...
What? No. He is humble and... Yes. If there's one thing I can say for certain, it's that Yuya would never draw... But, with that said, I also cannot know what course of action he might be... Anyway, should you find him...
Don't worry. You have our word.
From the sound of that, Paimon doesn't think Yuya was the one who attacked us as well.
Yes. It sounds as if something happened when the two men met each other. Let's pay a visit to the...
Let's move out.
I'm very sorry, but we cannot afford to pay what we owe right now. My husband has gone missing, and I'm still trying to find him.
No, you misunderstand us. We are here to help with the investigation. We'd like to ask you some questions.
Ah, I see. I thought the debt collectors had... I'm sorry you have to see me in this dreadful state. Has some new information...
I'm afraid we don't have any new information at the moment. With this in mind, can we...
For example, Paimon's struggling to understand why a collector would be strapped for Mora.
That's a long story. Ever since I've known him, he's been an avid collector of all sorts of things. He'd always get so animated when he was showing. Everything was fine when we first got married. But as time went by...
Uh-oh!
He lost his sense of restraint. He started buying more and more things, and even resorted to borrowing money just so he could pay for them. Our expenses really spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. It was awful. There were days when he'd spend hours down at the warehouse, admiring his weapons even as debt collectors were descending upon our house. He wouldn't sell them, wouldn't even touch them. Just sat there staring. I'm happy he has a hobby, and I'm willing to support him. But making ends meet has to come first. I've tried. On the last day that I saw him, I gave him an ultimatum. I said, if he refused to sell his collectibles and pay off his debts, I would divorce him and take the children with me.
Whoa!
And that led to an...
Actually, it didn't. Generally, he's a quiet man who likes to go with the flow. You must understand, I never would have dreamed of threatening him with divorce if the debts hadn't pushed our family to the brink. After I said those words, he froze and was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family? Had I not indulged his bad habits, we wouldn't have found ourselves in such a predicament. And I also don't know if he had actually come to his senses, or if he would... The next thing I heard was that our warehouse had caught fire, and both he and the buyer...
I see. Amin Omayuya.
At first, I assumed they must have gotten into an argument over the price. But my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying groceries, so it's...
Maybe he would...
I don't know. He just disappeared. Perhaps he's too afraid to come home. Even though I'm still a little mad at him. We're a family. As long as he's willing to turn over a new leaf...
Please don't get upset. If collecting things is a habit that Mr. Nagato had his whole life, it is quite unusual for this habit. But the information we gathered from the other side suggests Ame-no-Mayuya is also a mild-mannered man who would not be likely to start an argument.
A little confusing. More like completely mystifying.
Let's try a change of scenery and see if we can... Rest assured, we'll notify you if we find any.
Thank you so much.
Based on the information we've gathered so far, I can only surmise that the sales meeting between the two men was somehow the catalyst for their disappearance. The fire at the warehouse likely played a part in how the situation unfolded. Though its exact role... Do you have any thoughts?
Nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while. Over to you.
Right. I very much agree with you. It seems highly likely that we're missing a piece of the puzzle. Working off what we know so far, the chances are that there are still some clues left for us. One fact that I keep coming back to is that Ame-no-Mayuya is polite and well-mannered, while Mr. Nagato is introverted and passive. Neither seems like Mr. Nagato, being heavily in debt, is also the only one of... The more I ponder it, the more puzzling it becomes. Just what could have happened there? Right. Although the time frame seems to broadly match, Ame-no-Mayuya lacks a key distinguishing feature of the attacker. Namely that he...
Darn! We thought we could get two birds with one...
Let's keep going. If we can solve the case, both Mr. Amenoma and...
Okay.
Let's head out of this... Wait. I hear something ominous.
Oh! This must be another one of those, as sketchy as that whole thing seems. You did put it to good use when we were chasing down that vision thief at Beto's tournament.
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in addition to the sound.
But there's nothing here.
It's gone now, but I can. It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma. The remnants of the Tatarigami. Indeed. But this unexpected spring of inauspicious energy, we should remain vigilant.
So it's an under...
The force is definitely coming. The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since left this place. But the residue, judging from the concentration, I would have to conclude that the Tatarigami source resided here.
Mrs. Nagato's...
It could well be that he was already under the influence of Tatarigami energy at that time. From what I've been told, Tatarigami does not turn all upon whom it preys into violence, but most will develop a stubborn streak upon being exposed to the... Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with.
So what should we do now?
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look inside. If we don't open this door, we can move no closer. You needn't worry. Both of us have faced far greater danger.
What's down there?
Everything's buried in debris. It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
That was too scary!
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction that two ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. I feel... Yes, let's go. Quiet your mind and focus on what... From this point, the trail appears to... The main source of the Tatarigami energy continued on into the distance, but a small portion remained here, and seems to be dissipating slowly.
Whoa! Look at all those hilly churls! They're acting really strangely!
Something seems to be drawing their attention. Let's take a closer look.
Hold the line! Lightning slash! Judgment! Punishment! Rest and rebuild! Motion to compel! Bellowing thunder! Take this! Yeah! Hold the line! Incinerate! Look at this!
By the looks of it, a letter, written on a piece of... well... According to this letter, a conflict arose because Amenoma Yuya wanted to seize a blade. Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the...
So,
He was not only mortally wounded, but also under the heavy... Whatever traces there may have been of his fate beyond after this point, they've since been disturbed by the hilly churls. Yes. Right now, we need... If Amenoma Yuya is attacking other people indiscriminately, then the longer we take to find him, the more people...
Right! So let's get moving!
I wouldn't be surprised if he, too, fell prey to the influence of the For a practitioner of all the clues that at first seemed... I have a hypothesis that...
Wait! You think...
I believe so. On with the search. He seems to have...
Why here?
I'm not sure. But on close... Show yourself!
Kaede Kazuha. It's you, at last.
Aha! What's your problem, huh?
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. If it is Amenoma Yuya that stands before us. But what if instead of facing Amenoma Yuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
Now that you mention it, it is Whoa, whoa! Surely you don't mean...
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical objects, then works to... The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his... or rather, as a means to occupy.
You're sharper than Many, many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. I was his pride and joy. As a descendant of the Kaedehara clan, you should be able to guess our greatest regret.
I presume it has something to do with the Raiden Gokaden.
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, all he could do was to flee the nation by sea on a ship bound for Snezhnaya. He was a bladesmith of great renown, a master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. All he needed was more time, and sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work. He not only bestowed upon me the greatest of strength, but also endowed me with a consciousness of my own. In her conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most perfect blade in the entire world, but also an irreplaceable...
So... swords?
The people of the time in which I was born never believed I had that kind of power. They saw me as a mere blade. After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of I seek but one thing. To face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power.
So Amenoma Yuya was not... Tell me, what happens to those you've possessed?
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? They are but tools that... When they got tired, or injured, or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed them for was to take me back to Inazuma.
You're awful!
After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse until at long last, I'm approaching my journey's destination. By Amenoma Yuya's body, I have found you. And by your hand, I shall... Kaedehara Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. There can be no other to serve now. Give your body over to me!
Wind Strider. Yeah. Boom boom! Time for your arraignment! Incinerate!
Join me
Lightning Flash!
and sever that divine light!
Ha! Torrent, bring refuge! You can't run! Boom boom!
Submit to me!
Take this! Lights out. Yeah!
Rest and rebuild!
Incinerate! Take. You can't run!
Join me and sever that divine light!
Wind and cloud!
Yeah!
Do not stand in my way, or I will strike!
Your bluff's fooling no one. You've...
Lost. I can never lose. It is this body that is... Even if you defeat me here, the one who falls will not be me, but he is but a puppet that can be replaced. I can... The end result is the same! I will end this wretch's life before you can lift up... And even if I were to lose my physical form, it is but a small... By any means necessary, and any...
Your fighting style. It is indeed the forms, but from your movements, I sense only hatred and arrogance.
Really? You can tell up...
As I've mentioned before, the forms of Ishin art convey the user's thoughts and feelings. Since the blade is currently possessing Aminome Yuya's body, its movements express the innermost thoughts of the... If you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded ambition.
Are you trying to claim that I am helpless with... On his deathbed, he passed to me all of Ishin Art's secrets. The little that you know barely scratches the surface. In that regard, why would I ever need your help?
Because all of that is in the past. I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are indeed a cursed blade that can possess... Now that I've seen inside your mind, everything finally makes sense. After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak. To the point that you are now unable to acquire a new host without making physical contact.
Oh, that's right. Paimon remembers now. Mr. Nagato had a habit of never touching his collectibles.
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his collectibles did you finally have an opportunity to reach out to Aminome Yuya and make your escape. Well, that brings me to my second point. There's a despair in you that is so strong it threatens to overwhelm you. You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition, whatever the cost. But this ambition is too grand and too heavy for you to bear. Each step you have taken has come at a great cost. I think you realized your limitations long ago. The more you clenched your teeth and pressed forward, the greater your fear of losing everything you had achieved grew, and the more you wished to run from the truth. But the way I see it, what began as an ambition has long since become a delusional fantasy.
What would you know about any of this? I'm just one step away from achieving my goal!
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Ishin art. But to make this arduous journey, you committed countless atrocities and showed a blatant disregard for human life, even if you were to sever that divine light. Is this truly the outcome? Sure, you inherited the secrets of Ishin art. But even as you made your journey to honor this legacy, you treated the ones who wielded you as mere... How could you possibly unleash the full potential of Ishin art when you act in perfect discordance with the principle of harm?
Silence! I must achieve my goal. I will concede that you are most perceptive.
And you should face reality.
Easy for you to say. Facing reality offers me nothing. I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. Not hesitation. It is pointless to argue further, descendant of the...
How stubbornly you stick. I do not believe for a second that you can challenge the almighty Shogun in your current state. So let us make a bet.
What? Sure.
Very well. Then find yourselves. Once we have dealt with them, we shall proceed to Tenshu.
And as for your end of the bargain, if you lose, you must...
I accept.
Don't do this, Kazuha!
This is the only way to save Amenoma Yuya. If we don't do this, the Cursed Blade's strength is currently very weak, and I sense he's hesitating. The power of the Tatarigami lies in intensifying it.
What?
Even if things take a turn, we have a chance here to save an innocent victim. I am willing to...
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful ignorance. Now.
Kazuha?
I felt a little dizzy at first. It's all right. So far, this what I will.
What should we do next?
We find some... Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced... If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, it cannot unleash. If he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight it.
Wait a minute! Paimon remembers since the Takasukasa clan abandoned that secret base, it's been held by...
All right.
What about Amenoma?
The blade says he'll let Amenoma Yuya trail us silently. Although he hasn't regained his own consciousness yet.
Are we sure this is a good... Okay, fine.
Leave everything on this journey to me. Wind Strider!
Let's get down to business.
Clouds high. The birds call! Time to go. Wind Strider!
How are you feeling? You okay?
I'm all right. The blade is performing largely as I expected. Having gone so long without proper use and maintenance, it's become very difficult to use. Though he's making every effort to persevere, I do not think he can last.
Something else?
How strange. Rather than trying to control me, he is instead trying to match me. Let's keep going.
It's my lucky day. Let's get down to business.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night!
My blade! Very high. Very high.
can sense that his strength is slowly fading away. The blade is becoming more and more difficult for me. He cannot hold out much longer. If he keeps persisting,
But what would that do to...
I will be careful with it. He also says he does not have any plans to give up easily. He's still trying to achieve. Time to go. Time to go.
Look out! Ambush!
It's over!
Wind strike.
Fall before me! Keep this!
Wind strike.
Are you okay? It looked like
Yes. And it.
the sheen's grown a bit dimmer again. It doesn't look
Perhaps this time we'll finally have a.
true form. What are you talking? Is this the same blade as before? It looks like a piece of junk.
If you choose to continue in the state you're in, you wouldn't even be able to beat Samurai and Kairagi, much less the almighty Shogun. Maybe you did truly wield power to rival the Shogun's light when first forged. But the long journey from Snezhnaya back to Inazuma has... It barely needs stating anymore. Your ambition is a flight of fancy. I finally figured out why it was that you agreed to my... You wanted to reach a state of harmony with me. But regrettably, we are nothing alike. I will never... The only one who truly understood you had already...
Huh? What's that?
There they are! Take them down!
Where do they keep coming from? Yup. We can
Don't worry. I'll use my own... It's just...
It's my lucky day.
What's
There's more!
Wind Strider!
I'm ready!
Clouds high. The birds call. Wind Strider.
You fought.
You are a true Kaedehara in flesh and in spirit. No one knew anything of my story throughout my... I thought that if I could achieve Ishin harmony with you, perhaps there...
But in this too, you have...
Indeed. Too much time has passed. My physical... Yours is the blade that took on the Muso no Hitotachi.
Actually, this is just a generic... Forging and maintenance are both important for a blade, but they are... This blade has traveled the land with me for many years, and we have formed a close bond during that time. Plus, in the moment that I most needed it, I received aid from another power. Skill, blade, determination. There is something else I must tell you. Though your maker may not have been aware, your ability to possess your own consciousness derived from the power of the Tatarigami. Tatarigami is a malevolence from the ancient past. It is the source of your mania and savagery. Though you tried to cooperate with me while I was wielding you, the part of you driven by Tatarigami was constantly trying to seize control of my body.
I sensed it, but I couldn't change it. It isn't...
I resisted its temptations because I wanted to... I feel a great... The moment you embarked on this journey, you lost the... You have known this for a long time.
He gave me everything. How could I... I said to him...
Aww.
I believe our bet is now settled.
Where are you going, Kazuha?
He now has neither the ability nor the motivation to cause further harm. When I touched the hilt for the first time, it's as if I was transported to a bin. A bladesmith lay quietly on the bed. A newly forged blade lay by his...
Wow.
Indeed. While in exile in Snezhnaya, he spent the rest of his life in the He felt intense regret at being tricked by the Fatui, but he could never again return to his homeland. His sole wish was to one day return his... So he instructed this sentient blade to find a way back to Inazuma, no matter how long or how hard all he wanted to show was that
So that's the but after that, the black...
Right. This blade has committed... Yes, time would not wait or stop because of his determination. While the world moved on, his ambition remained stubbornly stuck at that fleeting moment at the dawn of his journey. He seems to have calmed down, though.
When I look back at... I once told him that I would pay any price to fulfill his wishes. Such was the debt I owed to him for giving me the gift of consciousness. But darkness and slaughter numb the mind. Not only did I fail...
You are finally seeing...
Since we agreed to the terms of the bet, but I still cannot bring myself to... So, may I...
Hey! Now you're adding yours and...
It has to be done in this order. At least hear what I have to say. My physical form, as well as the knowledge I put...
His attitude hurt? What do you think, Kazuha?
Let's hear it.
Thank you all. Alas, after that, nor have I ever had... My fights were devoid of any noble meaning. You are a fine warrior.
Oh? And who would be...
I will release Amenoma Yuya and restore his consciousness. Perhaps you must have plenty of reasons to both...
Understood. Then let...
I see. He used... I utterly despise him and his actions. But since he stayed true to your agreement by releasing me, if a duel can help to set this state of affairs in order, I do not wish to be a mere victim.
There's no need to worry.
Thanks for your help.
All right, then let's move on. More Ronin could appear at any moment. In any case, for a final duel, I think we should aim for a greater sense.